Welcome to the Ruthless Pro Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much for checking us out and supporting an up-and-coming and very popular Midwest wrestling promotion here with RPW. My name is Peapod. I am part of the commentary team here for RPW, but I'm also one half of the hosts of this lovely podcast. And of course, I can't do it without my main man, my partner in crime, Mr. Heel Corey is with me. Corey, how you doing, brother?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. It's great to be your main man. How are you doing?
Good. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for today. There are so many living legends in the deathmatch scene, and we're always honored to bring them and have a stage for them. And this man, who's been in the industry for close to 30 years, is a part of it. He is joining us today, Mr. Madman Pondo.
What's up? What's up, guys?
Thank you so much. You are an absolute just animal, a living legend, and we're so honored to have you here and be a part of this show and be a part of our show coming up with the Deathmatch Circus. And of course, it's happening October 2nd in Fenton, Michigan. We're very honored. And I'm going to kick it off just like this, kind of an odd question a little bit, because the pro wrestling world is kind of a niche market. And then deathmatch wrestling is kind of a niche market within a niche market. What do you say to people that want to check out more deathmatch wrestling, or how do you kind of try to explain deathmatch wrestling? You know, what is it about this world that just kind of keeps you going and being a part of entertaining us in the most violent of ways?
I will say that it was more difficult up until this period of time, because now there's been a death match on live TV, and there was a pay-per-view that was built around a death match. There was Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker had a hell of a death match on Dynamite. You know, all this death match stuff is finally coming around, and kudos to Matt Cardona for helping that out a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know, I do not understand why they were so pissed off, but kudos to Domino's. They need to have a cardboard cutout of Nick Gage in every lobby of Domino's right now, but they took offense to it somehow. But back in the day, man, it was so much more difficult. So there was a Kmart building, and we started doing death matches in it. And this was a town that had USWA for years in Louisville Gardens. And we're talking Jerry King Lawler, Bill Dundee, and then they started bringing in, they were like the developmental, OVW was like the developmental for WWE. So they started bringing in Kane and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and shit like that. So we're talking about an era of a Kmart building that started out drawing the Louisville Gardens USWA wrestling, because we were something different. Not only different, but we were real. I was the main event for the very first 3.5 months of every show at that Kmart building, talking about no rope barbed wire with light bulbs on it. The very first fans bring the straps match where I got the shit beat out of me, all types of shit. So it was a lot harder back then to talk people into death matches, because it was just something so unheard of. But now things are so easier. But your question was, what would I reference when it came to people who wanted to see the deathmatch stuff? I was a big tape trader back in the day. Are you guys familiar with tape trading?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. For a lot of people that's not familiar with tape trading, there was a magazine. It was PWI's little brother. It was a Wrestling Review magazine, and they would put addresses of people every once in a while that wanted to trade tapes. And then there was a thing called Dirt Sheet that gave some addresses. Well, that just exploded into all types of mail-in videotape traders all over the world. Well, I started getting a hold of Wing and FMW, and I can't even remember the call letters, but some Puerto Rico deathmatch stuff. But the main two guys that I was watching back in the day was Masanaga, Mr. Danger, and Mr. Pogo. I had a compilation videotape of their matches, and I wore that damn thing out. I watched it so much. So for tape trading, I would tell people to go and buy Wing or FMW or, the more deathmatch stuff. Well, then ECW came out. So people started wanting to get more familiar with that kind of thing. And give it up for Sabu and Terry Funk for doing that bob wire, no rope bob wire, because that kind of opened the doors for people to realize, holy shit, this is a thing. People really do this. Because there was no way that Sabu, that cut that he got, there was no way that he faked that, So people started realizing, okay, there's deathmatch stuff. So then all these deathmatch companies started coming out. And I made sure that I worked for all of them. Any of the deathmatch companies, the major ones I started working for. Well, now that's a little more difficult. Well, I would say right now, if somebody was to say, hey, where should I go for deathmatch stuff? I would say check out Game Changer Wrestling with Brett Lauderdale. I would say check out ICW No Holds Barred with Danny D'Amato, Anna Fight Underground with Dalton Diamond. There's just so many deathmatch groups now that it's so much easier to access deathmatches. So basically, all you got to do is go to Google and put in deathmatch, and you're going to get a shitload of stuff what you wouldn't get back in the day.
And we're trying to get our name out there, and you're absolutely right. There is it's become more mainstream now, thanks to, Nick Gage and the coverage he's gotten with Game Changer Wrestling. Then, things with AEW pushing those envelopes, and then obviously Big Japan Pro Wrestling has been around. FMW is now is in a resurgence now with Onita. It's incredible what people want nowadays. Not just like very interesting wrestling, but very interesting deathmatch wrestling as well.
So think about all this, that all the attention that Nick Gage and Slack and Atticus Cougar and John Wayne Murdoch and all these deathmatch guys are getting. Realize how much harder that was being number 3 in America to start doing death matches to get your name out there. And back then, social media for wrestling was those wrestling magazines. And I did that truck stop match, and everything started blowing up for me then. Promoters started getting a hold of me, and it was a lot easier to get better paydays back then. But, magazines are so extinct now. People really don't check them out until there's a PWI 500, and then they're all about that one,
Which just came out today.
Yeah. Kudos to Billy Starks for making it in the list of both. I mean, I can't remember what number she was, but it used to be, it was all guys, and then there was like 50 girls later, which I'm sure there will be 50 girls later, but Billy Starks made it in the guys and the girls. So, I've been following her since the day she started, and I'm pretty proud about that.
It's pretty cool hearing you talk a lot about like some of the stars of like today and tomorrow, and being able to wrestle all of these men and women, or open the door, given a platform for a lot of these people. Who is really on your radar? Who's interesting to you right now when it comes to wrestling, whether on television or independent, the deathmatch scene or everything? Who are some of the people that you really want more eyes on to see these people develop?
So I had a bunch of first timers on my list. just on my birthday, June 24th, I took care of the Slack one. Me and Slack got to wrestle in Anna, Illinois. And then there was Neil Diamond Cutter, which I'm going to take care of October 1st at the Circus. And then a new up-and-comer for your company, Bam Sullivan. It's going to be me versus Bam Sullivan. He was one that I wanted to wrestle. Mm-hmm. And then there was Atticus Kogar, which I'm going to take care of in October with Anified Underground again. And this is really going to sound odd, but so Kayfabe News, are you guys familiar with those guys? They do funny.
Yeah, it's the Onion for wrestling. Yes.
Yes. They made a fake video of deathmatch workers versus WWE guys. And some people fed into that shit and wrote me and was like, holy shit, I can't believe you're getting ready to wrestle John Cena. So, that was never even a thought. I mean, it was the advertisement was me, Masada, and John Cena in Thumbtacks, which I can't remember if John Cena back in the day took a bump in Thumbtacks or not. I remember a few of them guys did, but I couldn't remember if it was John Cena. But
I don't think Cena did any. I think Orton did, Edge did, a couple of the ECW guys, obviously, in when it was under the WWE umbrella. Jericho's done it. Yeah, I don't think a handful of the other guys have done. I don't think Cena's ever done that.
I think that would be money like a motherfucker. Madman Pondo versus John Cena. Maybe not Thumbtacks. I'm sure he doesn't want to do Thumbtacks, but some kind of hardcore match. But since I'm very certain in my lifetime that I'll never get to wrestle John Cena, now that Matt Cardona made such a good statement, I think Madman Pondo versus Matt Cardona in Thumbtacks or some kind of violent style match. I think that would be fun.
I'd pay good money for that, to be honest. I think
I think a lot of people would.
Oh, for sure.
And I hate bragging on myself, man. At the beginning, when you said I was a legend, I never call myself a legend. I think I'm just a guy who likes to have a good time and a whole bunch of people noticed along the way. I think legends are Terry Funk and Ric Flair, of course, no matter what you think about him, the guy who made wrestling what it is today, Hulk Hogan, I think those guys are legends. I always take that word icon. I take that word icon a lot easier than I do legend. But I'm not bragging, but I almost guarantee that Madman Pondo versus Matt Cardona would open eyes and people would want to come out and see what was going to happen.
I think people would be proud. I think you should be proud of what you have done in this industry, whether it's in here in America, overseas in Japan, things like that. People really speak very highly of you no matter what. And they enjoy what you do. You look up at things on the followers of Madman Pondo. Is quite incredible. Corey, we've had Pondo on a handful of RPW shows. When it came to the Deathmatch Circus, obviously that's our big event. What kind of gave the decision of bringing Pondo in?
I'm pretty sure Pondo was the first name we said. Pondo's got to be on the show. We wanted to do a deathmatch heavy show, and if you're going to do a deathmatch heavy show, you got to get Madman Pondo on there.
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And when we knew that you're really good at working with some of the younger guys, the guys that are up and coming, and we knew Bam Sullivan would be the perfect opponent. So as soon as we got the okay that you were going to be on the show, we knew exactly what we wanted to do. And I know that that's one of the matches I'm definitely most excited to see on October 2nd. So it's gonna be a great show.
That's funny you saying that. Back in the day, man, when I was trying to get this deathmatch started going, I had so many people putting their foot on top of my head, trying to shove me back down in that fucking hole, but I just wouldn't let them do it. I just kept going and going and going. So now I am all about helping the younger deathmatch guys elevate and get their name out there. Did you guys by any chance watch the Masters of Pain?
Yes.
I have not yet. No.
Okay. Well, spoiler alert, cover your ears.
All
So,
right.
so out of the 8 guys, the 4 guys that everybody was voting on and thought was going to go to the end of this thing, I eliminated right out of the fucking bat. Boom, they're gone.
Yep.
And then the second wave, the 2 guys that everybody thought was going to go on, boom, I knocked them out. And my main event was Nolan Edward versus Akira, and they fucking killed it. They did such a great job, and I knew they would, and that's what I'm all about, man. I want to help because nobody helped me back in the day.
Mhm.
I clawed and fought and scratched and bit people on the ass if I had to. I did what I had to do to keep going in this game. So I just want to make it easier on the younger guys trying to make a name for this shit. And, that's why I got this list. Not that Matt Cardona needs any more notoriety, but I'm pushing for a match with him. I'm pushing for that no-name John Cena match. Nah, but for real, Neil Diamond Cutter, man, I did everything. Man, you have no idea how many promotions I went to with this. The Bam Sullivan, Chris asked me, he was like, so who do you want to wrestle for the circus? And I went down the line of the newer guys. I wrestled Remington Roar, who is fucking awesome, and he's going to be a great deathmatch worker. I mean, is a great deathmatch worker, but it's going to be a bigger star coming in the years. I predict that now. But I had wrestled him 4 or 5 times, but at the last No Peace Underground show in Florida, I was in the locker room with that Bam Sullivan guy, and he had a real good attitude. Talked friendly and didn't talk about himself the whole fucking time. So yeah, that was my thought on that. Let's get Bam Sullivan in there. Let's have a good time with that dude.
Just when you take on Bam Sullivan, leave his mustache because that thing is impressive.
Oh, I'm gonna do something to that mustache. I was thinking about putting jumper cables on that, putting it on a battery and seeing how that worked out.
But yeah.
It's going to be crazy. Of course, it's going to be Madman Pondo, Bam Sullivan, Dog Collar 4 Corners of Fuckery Deathmatch because we need more crazy words and titles for the Deathmatch Circus. It's Inked in Blood. It's happening October 2nd, and we're very excited. One more quick thing, at least for me, unless Corey, you got a quick question, and I'll lay into you after this one. There are certain things that people kind of like critique when it comes to pro wrestling. Is there like certain things in the deathmatch world that you're like, maybe we need a little bit less of, or maybe it's just, or we need a little bit more of blank? Is there something in the deathmatch world that you're like, we need to be more creative, or we need to push the envelope more on something? Or are you just like, bring it all to the table and have fun with it?
Well, I am the worst. For me to say something needs to be cut out of death matches would make me the biggest hypocrite in the fucking world, because back in the day, being number 3 in America doing these things, of course people was saying, hey, you better not do that to yourself. But them saying that told my brain, oh, well, this is going to help me get remembered. This is going to help me get my name out there. I'm the very first one, thinker and taker, taker. Somebody gave it to me of the light tube log cabin, right? Now I see those used on various shows, and I'm so proud of myself that I'm the guy. I'm the reason that those log cabins are being made. So back in the day, people would have said, hey, take those log cabins out or you're going to really fuck yourself up. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because here I am today on this podcast with you guys for a reason. So not too long ago, rest in peace, my buddy Spider Boudreaux and John Rare. They used a box cutter on Spider Boudreaux's arm, and people lost their fucking mind and said, "Holy shit, this just can't happen." But here's the thing about it: we're talking about it today.
Mm-hmm.
So if they didn't use that box cutter, would we be talking about that today? No. That's keeping a name alive. That's keeping a name pushing in this wrestling game. So for me to tell anybody, okay, so here's something that I'll never fuck with again. I don't know if you guys ever saw, I took that Death Valley driver on a pencil board, a board of number 2 pencils.
Ow.
Yeah, that shit got in my bloodstream and fucked me up for 6 days. And people have, I have caught word that people was going to do that bump later. And I get it. I don't want to brag, but they saw me do it. So they're like, well, Pondo did it. I can do it. And the 2 guys was Jimmy Loin out of H2O and Neil Diamond Cutter. I called them both. I said, guys, I'm not even trying to preserve the bump. I'm just telling you that shit. I still got graphite or whatever it is they make pencils out of today in my back. It got my bloodstream and just fucked me up for 6 days. So I would say nobody should ever do pencils ever again. I'm really concerned about these pigeon things that keeps pigeons off the buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Because if that goes in somebody's spine, they're not going to walk no more, you know?
Ooh.
But, of course, I can't tell people don't do it because I was just as stupid as they was back in the day. Another thing I'll say that is very, very, it has no hesitation. It has no, it has no mind to know to stop is fire. I think fire, you know, that JJ Escobar dude, I get it. He sat there and waited for that weed eater to hit him in the balls. But, you know, kudos to that kid. But, dude, if you saw the pictures of his crotch area after that, 3-degree burns, holy shit, man. Imagine walking around and, I mean, even getting on the toilet with those. So, So I'm telling you, so the only, and razor wire, I don't think razor wire should ever be used because my forehead is a testimony of what a razor will do. So I can't imagine people landing on razor wire. But I would be a hypocrite to tell anybody not to do anything except those pencils. I will tell anybody, don't do those fucking pencils.
So as long as it's violent, entertaining, and within reason, anything's on the table for death matches.
Well, not every time in reason. Holy shit. If you saw Jimmy Lloyd and G Raver take that high-ass bump through that bridge of glass.
Yeah, I saw that, actually.
I mean, surely if one of them got impaled, it would have been all over the internet. But just watching them set up for that, I was nervous as fuck for them guys. You know?
Oh, yeah.
All
Scary.
it would take is for some of that glass to land before they did, and boom, you know, there some vicious shit would happen. But what an awesome spectacle that was of getting to watch that, you know, give it up for them guys. And I don't know, man, like I do my best to keep up with the kids today, but holy shit, they're getting way braver than my 50-year-old body, 52-year-old body needs to be anymore. But I'm going to try and keep going and keep going and doing this deathmatch stuff as much as I can.
Well, we appreciate it. Corey, what you got something to add? You want to ask Pondo?
I was going to ask him kind of what he just went over. You know, is there any warnings that you have for anybody? But he kind of went over do's and don'ts. Although, you know, people are pretty crazy, so they're gonna be pushing the envelope. As long as deathmatch wrestling's a thing, I think people are gonna keep trying to come up with the craziest and most insane spots as they can.
It's all about getting that name out there, man.
For
the
sure.
movie, the Russell Crowe movie, The Gladiator, had one of the essential sentences in it that goes for wrestling, goes for basketball, it goes for football, it goes for just about anybody who's trying to further their name. Did you guys see Gladiator with Russell Crowe?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Do you remember the sentence where he said, well, not even him, the guy that was, Russell Crowe was just going in there and fucking people up. But the other guy said, win the crowd, win the game. That is the truest statement ever. I can't wrestle worth dog shit, but I can get on that microphone or fuck my body up like a piece of sausage, and people love it, you know. So that helps keep my name. Michael Jordan, LeBron, you know, fuck, they're not going nowhere. Mean Joe Green, who used to just stomp the shit out of people, you know. There's things that you do that helps keep you alive in this world with your name going forward. And win the crowd, win the game. That's the sentence right there.
I think that's a good place to stop there. Pondo, you've been amazing. We're excited to see you.
I got two things I want to do though.
Yeah, absolutely.
First, Corey Higdon over at Deathmatch Worldwide has started a website only for deathmatch workers. If you're looking for a deathmatch t-shirt, go over to deathmatchworldwide.com, and then amazon.com or eatsleepwrestle.com. You can get a copy of Madman Pondo's book. It's called Memoirs of a Madman. So far I haven't had any complaints on it. So I know you guys are short for time, so I just wanted to get those two things in there.
No, that's fine. I was gonna just throw it to you and say if we want to follow you and everything, but you did it for me, so that's quite okay. We have RPW shirts with Deathmatch Worldwide, so they're great guys. So go check that out. We got links to all of that over at ruthlesspro.com. So go check that out. If we want to follow you on social media, Pondo, do you know your handles that we can follow you on?
Man, I'm the worst about that shit. Like I have a Twitter and an Instagram, and I was writing people on that shit. Nobody was writing me back. And I was like, bunch of fucking assholes. But I didn't know you had to put at in front of it. So
yeah.
Like Billy Stark's dad set that shit up for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have one. You know, I don't fucking know. But my name, Kevin Kennedy, Canady, on Facebook. I've been doing FaceTime with Pondo for $20, 20 minutes for $20. FaceTime with Pondo. If you get on my Facebook, Kevin Kennedy, Canady. I pretty well talk about anything: horror movies, wrestling, death matches. One guy wanted to talk about Sarah Logan, and I said as long as it didn't get out of hand, you know. So, you know, just whatever guys, whoever wants to talk about anyone. But that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. Kevin Kennedy, Canady on Facebook.
Well, we are so honored to talking with you for just a little bit, so we appreciate it, and we can't wait to see you during the Deathmatch Circus weekend, especially with us here in Inked in Blood for RPW. So thank you so much, Pondo.
I'll be there. I'll be there with balls on.